Hello guys, Mr. Dan2050 here, welcome to another video, and in today's video guys I'm going to be bringing you the £1,000 gaming PC build. In this build guys it's going to feature the Intel Core i5, the 4670K and also the ASUS DirectCU Geforce GTX 770. As well as this guys, since I've got the extra money we're going to get a really nice case for this and also a water cooler. In this case it's a Corsair Hydro H75. Anyway guys, starting from the beginning, for the CPU we're going to be going with the Intel Core i5. This is the 4670K and its stock clock is actually 3.4 GHz. This is a Haswell chip, hence the 4 at the beginning of the name, and yeah, this is socket LGA1150. And yeah, this CPU actually turbos to 3.8, so that's quite nice. And you know, just as a general guideline, when you're overclocking with the liquid cooler we've chosen today, you'll definitely be able to stay at 3.8 GHz all the time. I know many people that have got over 4 GHz with this chip, so that's all good. Now that's £170 just under, and I think that's an actual. I just think that's a bargain for an i5 because that's quite. This is known as the higher tier of the i5s, and I think that's a very nice price for a true quad core. Just going on to Intel's website, this CPU supports all the way up to 32 gigs of RAM with a speed of 1600. The actual max TDP for this is 84 watts. Now moving on to the actual liquid cooler guys, we're going to be grabbing the Corsair Hydro series, the H75 performance liquid CPU cooler. This is just under £60, and I think to get a Corsair liquid cooler for this amount of money is absolutely genius. Now this liquid cooler guys will enable us to, well, overclock the i5. As you noticed as I was reading out its name, it's got the K at the end, meaning the multiplier is unlocked, so you can yeah, you can increase the multiplier and overclock really easy. So yeah, this is a really nice cooler. It's a slim 25mm radiator. It has dual PWM fans for compact customizability and liquid cooling performance. It's got a copper cold plate. I don't really need to go into depth, but you get a really nice fan, a high torque fan. The actual fitting where it goes onto the CPU is really slimline, and you get all of the stuff you need guys. It's really simple to install liquid coolers, especially these closed loop ones. A lot of people think it's really difficult, but it isn't. It's really simple, and yeah, you can use it for future builds as well. Because as you know, it supports, if I just scroll back up to the top, look at all the compatibility. It supports everything out there, including LGA1150, which we're using today. That's a really nice fan, and it's a slimline fan. It's a really slimline cooler and fan that'll fit in the case we're going to choose. You'll see that note at the end. So for just under £60, I thought that was a bargain. Now for the motherboard guys, we're going to be choosing the Gigabyte GA-Z87-HD3. This is a socket LGA1150 ATX motherboard, so it's a full-size motherboard, and to be honest guys, it packs quite a lot of punch for £82. It's got, just clicking on the first image here, it's got a lot of expansion slots, including two PCI Express x16s, so you can kind of have two graphic cards in there at one point. If you're just kind of holding onto the motherboard for that long. It's got 4 DIMMs, so 4 kind of sockets for your RAM, which is good because you can upgrade your RAM. The RAM is one of these things that people tend to upgrade the most, and to have 4 sockets gives you a lot of expandability in the future, which is good. So yeah, there's not much to say about motherboards. I just tend to kind of like mention the actual slots. One thing to mention, if I just scroll down, so you get 4 USB 3s, you get 2 USB 2s, so they're on the back as you can see here. So you got 2 there, 4 here, so 4 USB 3s and 2 USB 2s. As well as that guys, you also get 3 USB 2 headers, which is nice, and then you also get 1 USB 3 header. Them headers plug into the motherboard and then go to the front of your case, so you can plug USB flash sticks in and stuff like that at the front of your case, which is really convenient. And even I, who don't exactly like going to the back of the case to plug stuff in, so like the case I've personally got, I have USB 3 header to the front, HT audio, stuff like that. And yeah, it is nice to have all them ports out to the front of your case. And yeah, the socket is LG1150, so the CPU fits in there nicely. But yeah, for just under £83, I thought that was a nice find. In terms of the memory, it supports all the way up to 2666 MHz RAM, which is insane. It really is. But yeah, this is quite nice, and I think it does offer a lot of expandability in the future, which is a really good thing, and something I personally look for. Anyway guys, moving on. For the RAM guys, we're going to be choosing 8GB of the Corsair Vengeance Pro. This is the silver colour. You can pick whatever your colour you want to, but this one's on sale. This is RAM that runs at 1600 MHz. It's dual channel RAM, and you know, this is kind of a bundle where you get two 4GB sticks. For £75, you cannot go wrong there, and Corsair makes some really nice RAM. This RAM is quite kind of slimline. The CPU colour we're using today will fit on with this, and also the motherboard on the case we're choosing. All of the parts in these builds, guys, are compatible. I do check all of the sizes of parts before I put the video together, so you're not really going to navigate you to you know, a lot of parts. You get all the parts and you know, stuff doesn't fit. Everything will fit. I've checked all the dimensions and stuff like that, because you know, that's what I had to do when I was building my PC, and you know, mine's worked out fine, so we're going to leave it like that. Now for the graphic card guys, we're going to be spending £268 on an ASUS DirectCU Geforce GTX 770. This is overclocked, and yeah, this is a 2GB card. A GTX 770 is capable of playing any game in Ultra at 1080p with at least 60 FPS. Of course, it does kind of vary in terms of what games you're playing, but with this card you'll be playing anything literally. It's a really powerful card, but you know, for the price you'd kind of expect it to be. But yeah, if you're going to be using this card for also editing, you have a really nice time, and editing will become fun, I tell you. So yeah, this card supports PhysX, CUDA, all that good stuff. The actual core clock on this is 1058, and then also the boost clock, I believe, is 1110 MHz. That's nice. The actual chip in this is a GK104, and yeah, you get 1556 CUDA cores. The memory interface is 256-bit. And in terms of the connections, guys, on the back you get two dual-link DVI-Is, one HDMI, 1.48, and then you also get a DisplayPort, which I can show you is there on the image. Not a lot of you guys will use DisplayPort, or you know, chances are you probably not even heard of DisplayPort if you're not very techie, but DisplayPort enables you to get to the higher resolutions with graphic cards these days, because HDMI doesn't really cut it sometimes. So yeah, I personally use HDMI because it carries audio at the same time, which is brilliant, and that's exactly what I need to record my gameplays via my PVR. So I refuse to pay for like fraps and use that, so it just sucks up all your power from your PC. It's horrible and creates very large file sizes. Yeah, I kind of mention that to a lot of people. Anyway, for the SSD guys, we're going to be choosing a 250GB Samsung 840 EVO. This is a 2.5-inch SATA, SSD. So yeah, the read and write on this SSD, guys, are just phenomenal. They really are. The actual read on this is 540 megabytes per second, and then for the read, for the write, sorry, you get 520 megabytes per second. The IOPS on this is 97,000. And yeah, that's kind of possible because of the Samsung MEX controller. For £135, I think this is really worth it, and Samsung do make some very good stuff, including SSDs. There's not much else to say about this apart from it's an SSD, and it will work wonders. It really will. SSDs are really fast, guys, and yeah, fair enough. The actual capacities are low at the moment. You can't exactly buy like 3 or 4 terabyte SSDs. Well, you know, who in the right mind kind of has the cash for that? But they're really nice SSDs, and since you know you're going to be installing games and stuff, you might need more than 250 gig. So I've also chosen for this build a 1 terabyte Seagate Barracuda. This is the hard drive. It's a 3.5-inch SATA revision 3 hard drive. Yeah, there's not much to say about a hard drive, guys. It's just a disk that spins and stores your data, and that's about it. For £42, you cannot go wrong for a 7200 RPM drive, 64 megabytes of cache, and an 8 milliseconds kind of seat time, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, £42. Now, for the power supply, guys, we're going to be going with a Corsair CS650m. Hence the name, 650m. This is a modular power supply, and it's actually gold rated as well for its efficiency. So it's not exactly going to get really hot. It's not exactly going to get, you know, loud and stuff like that. So it's a nice power supply by Corsair. I personally have the CX600. That's a really nice power supply, and that's quite quiet. So yeah, this is a high-end kind of power supply. 650 watts is a lot of wattage for this build. A lot of people tend to go overkill when it comes to power supplies, but I think 650 watts is more than enough by quite a long stretch, to be honest. So £72 just under is nice for that, and it has all the cables you'll need to connect your graphic card. With graphic cards, guys, over about, you know, £150, you do get adapters. So if you want to kind of use the virtual converter cables you get, you can use them. I'm not sure if it'll kind of tell you what cables you get. Oh, there we are. Virtual cables you need for this is one 8-pin and one 6-pin. You will get kind of, you know, conversion cables, but I know that all these parts work together because, as I mentioned in all my previous videos, all of these you know, parts and components all work together. They're all compatible with each other, and that's the main reason of me putting these builds together. I wouldn't direct you to parts that do not fit. So that's my kind of promise. Now, the last part, guys, is going to be the case. So this is the Fractal Design Define R4. This is the Arctic White Midi Tower Window Soundproof case. Quite a mouthful, actually. But yeah, for just under £100, it's a nice case. It looks nice and sleek. You've got the glass window to the left hand side of it, and it just looks really, really nice. It's soundproof as well, which will dampen the sound. But you know, this case looks really nice, as well as nice and roomy, and can fit the water cooler that we've chosen, which was the Corsair Hydro series, the H75. So yeah, quite a nice case. This case has, if we just click on the picture, it has USB 3 and also USB 2 on the front, as well as the power LED. I believe that's a reset button. You've got your headphones and also your microphone, or your line in. Retrospectively, they're quite the same thing, to be honest. But yeah, this case is quite nice. So it supports ATX, Micro ATX, and Mini ITX motherboards. In our case, it's going to be the ATX, since that's what the motherboard is, and it has 7+1 expansion slots, 2 5.25-inch bays, 8 3.5-inch hard drive trays, and you know, they're all compatible with SSDs at the same time. Which can, you know, kind of allow you to not you know, use like adapters. You can just plug an SSD straight into the tray, no fuss, which is quite nice. And yeah, 7 fan positions, so you can potentially mount, you know, a lot of fans in this case, which is nice. Which is yeah, very nice. In terms of the space for cable routing behind, guys, it's 2.6 centimeters. That's quite nice. 10mm is a centimeter, I believe. But yeah, it's a nice case. I like the look of the case, to be honest, and I like cases with windows in, so that's kind of personal preference. The white fan on the back is quite nice as well. You might need to reposition that fan depending on where you want to mount the Corsair Hydro series. Is it the H75 we chose? Yeah. Where you'd want to mount this. I would kind of recommend you mounting this on the back in the exhaust. You know, here. That's where I would put that. And yeah, anyway, guys, that's going to conclude this build. The total for this build was 994.29. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Please feel free to like, comment, and also subscribe. And if you have any questions, guys, any queries, whatnot, feel free to leave some comments, or, you know, emails, whatever you want to contact me via. My email address is in the description as always. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video. Goodbye.